What is up, everybody? I'm Aslan Hajavandi, Director of Digital Media for Warchant.com, the ultimate Seminoles sports source. Hit that thumbs up button once you check here on YouTube. Subscribe to us as well. Lower right corner of your screen, totally free. Hit the little bell, set your notifications, turn them on. You know, you just get hit every now and then with some notification. You don't have to set it for all of the things. You can customize it as you will, but we certainly would appreciate it. Meanwhile, over on the website, as we get ready for Trench Talk with Devontay Love-Taylor come up here in a few minutes, over on the Warchant.com website, really good write by our own Corey Clark, who dove deep into the numbers of the Mike Norvell offense with Jordan Travis at the controls. Some really eye-opening numbers. Don't want to give it all away, but one of the ones that you might find interesting is that when Jordan Travis gets a majority of reps on offense, this team averages 34 points per game. All other four quarterbacks that have been starting games and playing for Mike Norvell the last season and a half, 16.7. Plenty more data and information. Good story again, right up from our own Corey Clark over on the website. Don't forget, tomorrow, 1 to 3 p.m., Seminole Headlines is live right here on YouTube, as well as 93.3 FM in Tallahassee. You can get your questions for that over on Twitter as well. I think Ira posts a thread and you can reply to it, and they'll take your questions in hour number 2 on Seminole Headlines. That's 1 to 3 p.m. Before that, though, team will be practicing on Tuesday afternoon, or Tuesday morning, rather. We'll have interviews with Mike Norvell and players afterwards. So do stay connected with us on warchant.com for that. So much coming up. So much coming. We'll have Warchant Report later on the week. Jeff Cameron Show obviously going Monday in the books. Then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Pre-game show with he and Tom Lang, 9 a.m. Tallahassee game day. Brought to you by Zaxby's. So check that out. Post-game show 10 minutes after the North Carolina game, which is 3:30 p.m. I don't know what channel it's on, though. Someone let me know. I think it's ACC Network. Could be totally wrong. We'll get to that. Nonetheless, though, we'll be taking your questions here on YouTube, so get them on in. We'll take some from maybe Twitter as well as Warchant.com Tribal Council. Hope you're all doing well out there without Facebook. Hope you're all doing well. I know it's crazy for some of y'all. I like seeing it all burn down. Anywho, though, without further ado, let's start the real show, and that's Trench Talk with Devontay Love-Taylor. That's coming up here momentarily. It's got to pull up the open, and boom, we're off. From the ultimate Seminole sports source comes another original live content production. Trench Talk with Devontay Love-Taylor. You bring the live rounds, he'll bring the pancakes. And now, number 58 in your programs, but number 1 in your hearts, here's the man of the next half hour, Devontay Love-Taylor. There he is, everybody. It's Devontay Love-Taylor joining us here on another edition of Trench Talk. This is a fun one, Devontay. This is one coming fresh off a win 33-30 over Syracuse. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. How you feeling? What was your Sunday and Monday like, man? Catch us up.
Just watching film, recovering, and getting ready for next week, or for this week.
I got you. How good did it feel, Devontay? I mean, you guys have been close. You guys probably deserve to have more than one win at this point in the season, but how did it feel to finally get one?
It felt good. Like I've said on here before, I felt like we were doing the work. We were just hurting ourselves on Saturdays, and we even hurt ourselves a couple times this Saturday. But, we're getting better every week, and we have to build off that. We got to respond to the success and not just respond to our failures.
When you guys beat North Carolina last year, that was a big success for you guys. I mean, is it kind of funny that we're at this point now where they were the success for you last year and you had to figure out how to deal with it, but now you've dealt with success and it's coming into the North Carolina week?
Yeah, it's a whole new season, so it's not really – I can't relate it. Last year and this year are two totally different years. Last year we were missing out on big picture stuff, just like blatantly all over the field. And this year it's more of the smaller things. And now we just got to figure out, learn from what we did last year, good and bad, going into this week.
What'd you do to celebrate on Saturday, man? I'm sure, it was family weekend. I'm sure you had some family in town. Was there a certain meal that you used, or how'd you celebrate the Saturday victory?
I didn't really celebrate. I kind of went home. I hung out with my family. I hung out with my girlfriend, and that's it. Watch some football.
How was Sunday's walkthrough? Coaches talked about the way to get out of the hole was just to keep putting your head down and keep working. I know you guys weren't letting the losses affect the way you prepared. But do you let a victory affect anything? I mean, do you let it make you guys feel a little bit good or give you a little added juice? How was Sunday's walkthrough?
I wouldn't say that. The biggest thing with this staff that shows to me is consistency. They're the same no matter what. Just because you won doesn't mean you did everything right. And just because you lost doesn't mean you did everything wrong. So I feel like this staff, they're very good on that. Where it's like, yeah, you won, but we still made mistakes. We've been one play away from winning all season, and we could have been one play away from losing on Saturday. So it's very detail-oriented, Sundays are, and they're very intense.
Eric says, what's going on? Just wanted to wish you congratulations on Saturday as us crazy Nole fans. We're watching from far away, so lots of excited people here. We usually start our show, the podcast, with our guy Gator Kirk in Virginia, not West Virginia, but Virginia Beach. And he says, good evening to you. Devontay asks you, if you could have one superpower, what would you choose? Beat the Heels, go Noles.
I don't know. I probably wish I could fly.
Okay. I was about to say teleportation, something like that,
Yeah, something like that. Like, you don't want to be like too creepy with it, like, because if you just teleport, you'll just pop up. But if you like have super speed, you can show up like around the corner and be like, oh yeah, I just got here.
I know. Then we'd have to never worry about running late for anything, man.
No, you could sleep in. I could sleep until 7:10 for a 7:15 meeting and just get there and be ready and everything.
All right. Well, with that said, let's hop over to the Warchant.com Travel Council. We'll also take your questions on social media, whether that's Twitter or here on YouTube. Can't pull anything off Facebook, I don't think. Facebook's down. My friends, we got a group text going on. Do you use Facebook at all, Devontay?
I don't really use it. My mom posts a lot on there and tags me and stuff. And I look at it, but I don't really respond to anything or talk to anybody on Facebook.
Yeah, I feel like, freshmen, kids in high school, they use TikTok. Adults use like Twitter. I mean, like, I guess y'all use Instagram. It's like, who really uses it? But, everything is tied in with them. Nonetheless, though, let's pop over to the Warchant.com Travel Council. This comes from our guy over in Hawaii, Ralph. He's a Tallahassee native, Spartan Knoll 71. He says, aloha, Devontay. How's it? Great first win. The guys fought hard until the end. We are seeing less penalties these last few games. I was wondering what you think is the reason for that. On to North Carolina. Mahalo and have a blessed week.
I think it's seeing how the penalties cost us. To be honest, previous games we were high on penalties and we lost close games because of that. But now, like I said before, we were just shooting ourselves in the foot. But now it's like we're trying to play more discipline and do the right things, and it could pay off because if we could have had a penalty on the last drive or any other touchdown drive, that could have cost us, and we wouldn't have been in the situation we were in. So it's like you just gotta attention to details.
How good was it to have most of you guys back on the offensive line? I know none of y'all feel as good as you probably did first week of September, but how good was it to have most of that starting five that we saw against Notre Dame kind of out there for most of the game against Syracuse?
It's good because it brings depth back to the room as well. When you only have your regular starters healthy, then it's very hard to have the guys that are the twos that could come in and step up. But now, we got our full group back and we're ready to go.
There you go. All right, let's go back to YouTube here. Johnny Burkett asks, do you guys feel confident going into the North Carolina game?
We feel confident every week, the way we prepare and the way our coaches prepare and they have us ready. We practice. You've been at our practices. You see how intense they are. We always have an extreme amount of confidence going into the games.
Do you guys pay mind at all to the fact that they seem to play a little bit better at home? I mean, you guys seem to play a little bit better at home as well, too. Is that just part of the game, or is there anything that you've kind of seen from them that they seem to do better, I guess, when they are at home?
Not really. We usually don't pay attention to home and away. We just pay attention to who they're playing and their tendencies and techniques and stuff like that.
All right. The Empire 84, can you tell us what the locker room was like? I think it's really cool that y'all seem to really play for and be excited for each other every week. Who broke the rock? Was there a video out there yet? Did anybody smash the stone? What happened?
Jordan Travis broke the stone.
Okay. I didn't know that.
I had to. But no, it's really cool, especially him not getting to play the week before and coming out and performing like that, you can't help but be happy for a guy like that. He's always positive. He's a good person, good teammate, good friend. You get excited for guys like that, especially when they're making plays.
So how was it? I mean, were people like live streaming on Instagram?
Yeah. I'm an older guy. I didn't really do the Instagram live. A lot of the freshmen, they were dancing and stuff. They got their first win, and it was a good time.
Much needed, though, right? I mean, have you allowed yourself, I guess there's at least like a 24-hour rule. Did you at least give yourself and most of your teammates give themselves 24 hours to enjoy the victory, to enjoy the success?
Not 24. I'd say you get about 8.
Okay.
You got to get ready the next day. You got to come back in because you got to watch the tape. And then once you get back in the meetings, it's not enjoying it no more. It's time to go back to work.
All right, man, let's jump back over to the warchant.com tribal council. Reminder, hit that thumbs up button, maybe even subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's totally free. It's in the lower right corner underneath Devontay. Just hit subscribe and then hit the bell and set your notifications. We certainly would appreciate it. Helps get the message out to everybody. Let them know that we got a live show with Devontay Love-Taylor every Monday for 20, 25 minutes or so here on YouTube. So we certainly would appreciate it. As we go back to the tribal council, warchant.com, this comes from Norton_Noel. He's got 2 questions. Let's go one at a time. What a feeling getting that first win. Love seeing how you all fought together through adversity and stuck with it. A couple questions for you. First one, while we got the win, players and coaches noted there were a few things to clean up. How much more receptive are players to being coached up after a win compared to a loss? And do you think the increased receptivity to these messages leads to more improvement down the road?
Well, I feel like at this level, especially at a program like Florida State, if you can't be receptive to coaching, no matter the situation, then I feel like you aren't going to be very highly recruited. So I feel like, especially on our team, all of our players accept coaching, win or loss. And like I said, like our staff is so consistent, you're getting coached the same win or loss. If you step the wrong way in a loss, you're getting yelled at. If you won and you step the wrong way, you're still getting yelled at.
You mentioned it that they're consistent. I mean, how does that help you as a player to kind of know what you can always expect from this coaching staff?
It helps a lot because you're never too high or never too low. If, for example, if I took bad footwork on a long touchdown run, when we come and film the next day, it's not about the touchdown run, it's about my footwork. And that's why I feel like we are so prepared and confident going into every week, because that's how we're coached. And that's why we respond how we respond when we're down, because that's just how we work.
I'm going to let you brag on yourself for a second if you'd like. Our own Austin Cox, who you're familiar with as a writer for us on warchant.com, was mentioned that he thought you had a couple key blocks against Syracuse that helped spring some big runs. Was there a play or two that you can kind of recall in your mind where you definitely did your job and kind of helped spring something?
Well, not just me. It was our whole group. If I'm pulling and kicking a block, there had to be something done on the left side of the line for me to get there. There had to be a tight end behind me getting a block or a tackle behind me getting a block. Those big plays we make, it's just, if I do something good, that's just me doing my 1/11th. Those big plays that happen, that's 11 people doing their job. And that's why those plays happen, because it's everybody doing their job.
You mentioned that we are at practice, so we are able to see the way you guys get after it. We're there for Tuesday and Wednesday. We don't see Thursday and Friday. I assume Thursday might be a little more situational, 4-minute, 2-minute drill, 1-minute drill. I guess, in terms of how you guys prepare, how do you prepare, and how confident were you guys when you were able to get the ball back late in that game against Syracuse to drive down and kick the field goal?
We practice 2-minute drill every week. So we are very confident. We've had a few 2-minute drills this season already. So it was just another day. We were confident in each other. We had been communicating the whole game. We knew what to expect. And we knew 13 was going to do what he had to do. And we did what we needed to do.
How much of his 2 big runs on that last drive did you see? Or was it like, were you just like head on a swivel trying to do something and then you just hear the roar of the crowd and you see he's 30 yards downfield?
It's a little bit of both. Once you're engaged with your guy and he starts running, instead of at you, he starts turning around and going the other way, you kind of know what's happening. But then you just chase the ball that way in case we got to hurry up and get set. But I saw him on the one. We were chasing the very first one, the long one. I saw it once he got out the pocket. But,
do you ever look up at the Jumbotron during the game to see like what's going on?
So after a play or like if there's a penalty, I'll look up at it and see the previous play to see what I did because we don't have film on the sidelines. Like we can't see what we're doing on film until after the games. So sometimes I'll look at the Jumbotron during like a TV timeout if they're showing replays, like the recap highlights and everything, just seeing what I did on those plays.
Do you guys get photos at all? Do you guys see anything on the sideline? Or do you guys at least have photographs to look at on the sideline between drives or anything?
No, that's why you have to have such good communication within the group, because when you come onto the sideline, it's the 5 people that were in, you have to communicate what you had in front of you, what the linebackers were lined up like, what they did during the play. If we have an 11-play drive, we'll start at play 1 and have to go all the way to 11 and tell them what exactly happened on each play. That way, if there is corrections, they can fix it.
You'll remember all 11 plays that you just ran when you're like on the sideline?
Most of it.
Look at you, man. Big helmet,
It's
big
the whole
brain,
group.
man.
It's everybody, because if he's at left tackle and he had something on play 5 of a 12-play drive and we can do something that'll benefit off of it later, he has to remember that.
Good point. All right, let's get back to the question from Norton. Let's go to the second part of it. He says the announcers talked about players in the trenches looking tired towards the end of the second quarter, specifically on the defense. Can you give us some insight into conditioning during the season, or does all conditioning happen before the season starts? Obviously, I understand if some guys are being held out due to injury, but any insight into how you guys condition when you are in season?
In season, we condition, I think 3 times a week. I don't really remember. I'm just out there working. But and then getting in football shape and just running are 2 totally different things. The best way to get in football shape is to play football. And it's hard to simulate games, especially during a season, because you don't want to go full speed 100% every day, ones versus ones, because that's how guys get banged up. But, in the trenches, when you're 300 pounds, 320 around there, and it's 90 degrees outside, they're going to look a little tired.
It's only fair, man. You mentioned it. The only way to get into football shape is to actually play football. But is there anything that you guys do conditioning wise, running? Is there any drill or added resistance they'll do with you that you think is like, man, this is about as close as it's going to get, or it's something that you think does get you guys into a pretty good mindset, or at least cardiovascular wise?
I would say tempo drill. We do it I think we do it 3 times a week. But it's just going against the defense at a fast pace.
Yeah. All right, let's get Johnny Burkett. Is it Johnny Burkett or is it Burkett? I don't know. Let me know, Johnny. I'm terrible at pronouncing names. With the last name like Hudjavani, you think that wouldn't be a problem, but nonetheless, it is. Chances you guys are going to wear white uniforms with white helmets this weekend, or is that just for recruits?
I do not know the answer to that. That is above my pay grade. I just wear what they put in my locker and try my best to block.
So you guys, so the Unity Council, you guys don't have any input into what you guys wear? That's all like a Coach Norvell higher up decision?
Yeah, I'm not even sure if he decides, to be honest. We just, we're very traditional. So we just get on or put on what they give us.
Hey, let me ask you, you might not know this. Everybody keeps asking us to ask Coach Norvell, but it's like we're talking to him about balls. So we can't really like find ways to sneak this stuff in. But do you know what's up with the tomahawks on the helmets? Like I remember, I'm sure as a kid you remember watching Florida State play, and they had the tomahawk stickers on the helmets. Do you guys still do that, or is that something that only happens, or what's the deal with that?
I'm not sure. I don't think we've done them since I've been here,
yeah,
and we've never really talked about it.
Okay, all right. I'll one of these days I'll ask him. Everyone keeps getting on our case, like, hey, ask him already. All right, let's go back to Tribal Council, warchant.com. This is from Dottie FH. Just wondering if the team was aware of the fans who stayed for the game afterwards and sang the fight song and the war chant as you guys left the stadium. The fans that stayed were a happy bunch and proud of the team. Thank you.
So we couldn't hear it in the locker room, but my girlfriend actually sent me a video as she was leaving, and you could hear it like as the game was over. And I thought that was really cool.
All right. How long do you stay on the field? Like, on Saturday after a win? Was it just like field goal goes through, like, all right, awesome, like I'm getting out of my pads, I'm going to the locker room? Or like, how long do you usually linger around the field after a game, Devontay?
About 5 minutes. You talk to the guys you just played against, chop it up for a little bit, tell them good game, wish them luck the rest of the season, and then sing the fight song, and then just head to the locker room.
Yeah, all right. Have you ever gotten like mad at somebody after a game? Have you ever gone to a guy that you went up against and be like, hey man, like you played cheap, or like have you ever like try to settle something like after a game and be like, hey, what was up with that, and try to kind of get the cooler heads to prevail?
No, not really. It's more like if I beat somebody or I get them good. Like I think last week I had a good block and the kid came up to me and talked to me after. If somebody beat me with a move, I'll be like, oh, you got me with a nice move in the second quarter. And you just chop it up.
All right, there you go. Good, man. Sportsmanship, man. There's a big statue out front of the stadium about it. Bobby Johnson asks, how much weights do y'all do a week?
About three to four, depending on what your program is. I usually lift Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. Some guys, they'll go Sunday, Wednesday, Friday, and they might lift before the game if they're not playing.
Does everybody lift on Sunday?
Yes.
Oh.
After the game, everybody lifts.
Oh, like that's brutal. I remember, like, if for most of us that are not high level athletes, like if we go like a month without working out, like you get super sore and the next day like, oh, I'm sore. But like that, nothing of that compares to like going through actual football game. But you go through everything. You play 70 snaps, and then Sunday you guys got to lift.
Yeah, but usually you don't get really sore until the second day, so it's better to get it in on Sunday. We usually do like our heavier lifts on Sunday. That way we get a full 6 days to recover.
All right, good stuff. All right, man. I think that's here we go. Beast comes right at the buzzer as we're winding things down. Post your questions here, everybody. We'll take them. We got them for a few more minutes, or post them on the Tribal Council, warchant.com. Beast3517, what's your other favorite sport to play besides football, and maybe your other favorite sport to watch?
Basketball for sure. I had hoop dreams until I realized I wasn't going to be 6'8", but football's working out so far.
So both, like, and you watch NBA too? Is that like your?
Oh yeah. Well, not even the NBA. I like watching March Madness.
Right.
I like watching the smaller schools play the bigger schools, and just seeing those guys that like nobody knew become like Twitter sensations.
I know, man. I missed the tournament 2 years ago. That was sad times for us. Let me go back to Twitter and make sure we don't have anything on Twitter. We had one question, but I can't even pull it up. It's crazy. It's complete craziness. Devontay. All these questions that people have. Again, a reminder, hit that thumbs up button while you're here, everybody watching us on YouTube, as we get things winding down here on Trench Talk with Devontay Love-Taylor. So, Devontay, what's the plan for tomorrow? I know you guys practice like around 9 or whatever, and we're out there usually watching you. So like, what time do you get up on a Tuesday, and what's everything that goes into Tuesday before we actually see you guys practice in the morning?
Okay. So for me, I'll get up at 5:15. This is Tuesday and Wednesdays. I get up at 5:15. I usually get to the training room about 5:45, get treatment, rehab, and everything. The first meeting's at 7:15. You meet until about 8:30, 8:40. And then you're on the field, you practice. After practice, you have a lift right after practice, and then you're done for the day. But usually we come back and watch film around 5 or 6. And then Wednesdays, they're usually the same exact schedule as Tuesdays minus the lift. And then Thursdays are more of a mental focus day. And Friday, practice and travel day.
So tomorrow, like 7 a.m., you have a meeting. Is that like an all-team meeting? Is it all offense, or is it just you and the offensive linemen that have a meeting?
Special teams starts at 7:15, but none of the O-line are really on special teams. So we meet, but the rest of the team's in special teams.
Okay. All right. So a couple more questions coming in right at the last second here. Steve Johnson asked, what are the toughest reads as a lineman?
Probably seeing inside pressure from guys who don't give it away, especially when you're down in a 3-point stance, seeing like safeties rotate because they're going to rotate to wherever the pressure's coming from. And you got to be able to see that. But, when you're down in a 3-point stance and there's a lineman in front of you and then a linebacker behind him, you can't really see too much. So it's just That's probably the toughest, but you can learn to do it.
Was Syracuse, was that a tricky matchup at all for you guys with the amount of pressure they bring and I guess the amount of zone they run?
I felt like Coach Atkins did a great job of having us prepared for it. The first couple series, they're always like, you got to feel it out and just see what the tendencies are. Because it's one thing to see it on film, but it's another thing to see it right in front of you. But I felt like we handled it pretty well.
How much of that can you get from scout looks? I mean, I know the scout team defense is trying to line up and give you looks of what the opposing defense is going to give. But I mean, like a defensive lineman here that's, non-scholarship can't really give you the technique that you're probably going to see from somebody that plays like North Carolina, I would assume, right? Or am I wrong? They give you a pretty good look.
No, our scout team does a great job of giving us looks. But, at the end of the day, you're not going against the guy you're going to see on Saturday, whether I'm going against a freshman who's just raw right now, but could be better than somebody on Saturday that I'm going against Saturday or vice versa. But, you're never really going against the same exact person.
Tough one from Bobby. Who would you rather beat more, Florida or Miami?
I can't really answer that. I'd love to beat them both.
There you go. Correct answer. There you go. Way to crush that one. That's the correct answer. Anchor asks, who's your favorite teammate, favorite person to hang around with? His favorite coach is going to be Coach Atkins, obviously. I would assume. I guess so. If you want to say your favorite teammate is, like, if you got married tomorrow, like who would there somebody be like your best man on the team? Make the groomsmen cut?
I can't pick one. I'd have 100. How many? We got 115. I'd have 115 guys right there. I'd make them bring their own dates, though. I can't find 115 girls for them.
Hey, favorite person to hang with, like, so maybe that's not on the offense. If you had to hang out with somebody who's on the defense, like who would be the guy you'd rock with? Like, all right, I can rock with this guy.
I got to go with Kier.
Okay, Pop. Oh, Pop.
Pop.
All right, right on. All right, man. We made it to the finish line, man. We got through all the questions over on the Tribal Council as well as here on YouTube and our Twitter contributions, if you will. So we do appreciate it. Everybody, thank you for watching. If you hit the thumbs up on the way out, we would appreciate that as well. And hit the subscribe button, lower right corner underneath Devontay. Devontay, hey, man, we really appreciate you taking some time out. Know you're super tired, probably. I would assume. We do appreciate you joining us, man. Best of luck this Saturday against North Carolina, man. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
He's Devontay. I'm Aslan. Thanks so much for watching this edition of Trench Talk. Stay connected to warchant.com for more on the Florida State football program.